Columbia Police, search warrant!
The police are about to break into a house in Columbia, Missouri. They believe there's a large supply of marijuana here. Inside, a couple is putting their 7-year-old son to bed. They kill one of the family dogs, injure the other.
Move! Move past him! Move past!
They didn't find that large supply of marijuana. They just found a little, so they levied a $300 fine and charged the father with child endangerment.
You shoot my dog! You shot my dog!
They never apologized for killing the family dog.
Oh, that was a good dog. She's right down playing with you.
They wouldn't even say sorry.
Every indicator to me shows that this was a justifiable shooting. The dog was aggressive and the dog got shot.
Now, I was stunned to learn that SWAT team raids like that are not unusual anymore. They now happen every day in America. In fact, more than 100 occur every day. Radley Balco of Reason magazine opened my eyes to that raid and to a raid on this man's home, Shai Calvo. 2 years ago, cops burst into his home in Maryland and shot his 2 dogs. And this was because FedEx had delivered a package with marijuana?
Exactly. And the police, when they burst into our home, had done so little investigation, they didn't even know I was the mayor of the town.
You were the mayor of the town. It wasn't your own police.
It was a county SWAT team, but the errant SWAT team burst in the door, rifles blazing. They shot our 2 dogs, Peyton and Chase, one from behind while he was running away. And they tore our house upside down in a 4-hour nightmare.
So this was a mistake.
Well, when I remember distinctly as I kneeled there on the floor, bound, my own living room floor, at gunpoint, thinking it was a mistake. But as I looked into it further, I learned it's business as usual. They, to this day, say the guys did what they were supposed to do. Even though we were innocent, even though it made international headlines, it was an embarrassment for the county, they said it was the right thing to do.
And Radley, this has become business as usual in America.
Yeah, I mean, the raid that we just saw on video in Columbia, Missouri, it went viral on the internet, and there was a lot of anger directed at the Columbia Police Department. But this happens every day, and there was nothing unusual about that raid in Columbia, Missouri. They got a tip from an informant that there was marijuana. They brought the SWAT team early in the morning, late at night. They bust down the door. Even shooting the dog is pretty routine in these SWAT raids.
And what's really rare about this is that the police release the video. They don't usually do that.
Well, they're not even usually videotaped. I think they should all be videotaped so that so that there are any disputes over what happened can be resolved. But also just because I think if we're going to continue to wage this war on drugs in our names, we should actually know what's happening on the ground. And I think that there was so much outrage at this video shows that people aren't really aware of what tactics are being used in this drug war.
Now, in defense of the police, when they are going into what they are told is a drug house, for all they know, there'll be people with machine guns. They're scared, on high alert. They feel they need to come in this way.
Well, that's why it's important they actually do their homework first. I mean, SWAT raids should be the last resort, not the first resort. But increasingly, they're generally used just for regular search warrants. This is standard operating procedure in America, increasingly.
And your town's police chief gave this statement to the press.
I never in my wildest dreams ever imagined, when I thought about the crooks and the criminals that I would have to protect this community from, that I would have to protect them from my fellow police officers.
And I think we should clarify, this was the police chief for the town that Mayor Calvo is the mayor of.
Not the people who led the raid.
Yeah, the sheriff who was in charge of the raid still, to this day, says he would not have done anything differently. And in fact, I think he apologized for you being innocent, but not for the tactics, not for shooting the dogs, nothing else.
And your answer to this is what?
Well, look, SWAT teams have an important purpose. They were originally designed to respond to emergency situations, to diffuse an already violent situation. But beginning in the early 80s, they started being used more and more for drug warrants, to serve warrants on people who are suspected of nonviolent consensual crimes. And there you're creating violence and confrontation where there was none before, and you get these very predictable results.
Why are they using them more?
I think it's because of the rhetoric from politicians. Look, when you
You're being tough on drugs.
Yeah, we have to treat drugs like a war, and we give these police officers military equipment, we give them military training, and then we tell them they're fighting a war. We shouldn't be surprised then when we see sort of this battle imagery that we're seeing in a lot of these videos.
Do you think drugs should be legal?
I do.
Shy?
I think the current policy isn't working, and states should have some flexibility to try new things.
States should be able to experiment.
I think the federal role right now is a problem, and states want to try different things, and communities want to try different things. I think it makes sense to allow them to do that.
Thank you.